Hello all, this is Piyush Kumar. If you have been really planning to prepare for 2024 and 25 UPSC, in that case, this is the high time to start your preparation, specifically your optional paper. This is the reason because of what we are just coming up with our next and fresh batch of history optional for 2024 and 25. That's going to start from 19th of May and that's going to take place in both offline and online format on our platform Momentum IAS. When it comes to this optional, or in fact, like I should say, whenever it comes to optional, that plays very important role in your selection. Optional is that area where out of 500, you do have the potential to score somewhere around 300, 280 to let's say 310 or 320. This possibility is there. And I hope if you have really seen the nature or the pattern of UPSC, you all can understand कि scoring this much, let's say any amount, any score between 290 to 310 or 320, it's going to be a kind of great success. So if you really want to clear UPSC examination, in that case, you should pay proper attention to your optional paper. But at the same time, I should say one more thing, कि the moment you think for any optional paper, this much score is very much important and you have to try to score at least this much. But at the same time, I must tell you one more thing, that if you have been following the same older pattern for your optional, in that case, it's not going to be that easy for you to score this much. Like when it comes to any optional paper, in fact, throughout this UPSC, if we'll talk about the complete UPSC, like it's also evolving with the time. You can't say that the same nature of the questions or the pattern of examination remains. What pattern or the nature was there like somewhere in let's say 2005 or 2010. If you think that UPSC remains very much same, then it is incorrect. UPSC is also evolving and UPSC is also experimenting with the questions, with the syllabus and all areas wherever the possibilities are there. So if UPSC is doing the experiments, in that case you also need to prepare the subject with a very different approach. Like for proving this point, I can get you some examples. The examples which can help you that how UPSC is changing. Like these are certain questions which have been taken from history optional. Let's see, like from ancient Indian history, from paper 1. Like there was one question asked in 2004 of 60 marks, like describe the social life of the later Vedic people. How was it different from the Rig Vedic life? That was asked in 2004. Now, it's a very simple question where it's asking just to describe the social life of the later Vedic people. That's it. But if you'll see the questions that has been asked in 2019 of 15 marks, so then you can find examine how the transformation of the Varna system from the Rig Vedic to later Vedic people affected the position of women. So now there are two various dimensions of society which have been linked. So try to get my point. What point I'm trying to simply indicate that the nature of questions are very much transforming over the years in UPSC and the way pattern has changed. Earlier there used to be 60 marker questions, now there are 15 marker questions. So they do have proper scope to experiment with the questions. In the same way, if it comes to the medieval Indian history, just look at the question. In 2002, they have asked one question, write a short essay on Mansabdari system. It's a very straightforward question. So it's all about writing something about Mansabdari system. They are not asking any specific dimension of Mansabdari system. But if you see the question, again that has been asked in 2019, critically analyze whether the success of the Mughals is to be credited to the robust Jagirdari and the Mansabdari system. Now it is connected with this success of Mughal Empire with respect to this Jagirdari and Mansabdari system. In the same way, if you'll see the questions that have been asked from modern and world, there also you can find that there is great amount of experimentations had been done, such as that in 2001 there was a question asked, the tribal and the peasant rebellions led the foundation of the revolt of 1857. Now this question is also good in fact. But in recent times, in 2016, what question has been asked? How far is it correct to say that the 19th century tribal uprisings are a part of subaltern nationalism? Now there are two things which have been linked. So these two questions, or in fact whatever the questions I have shown you, all these questions are based on same theme. But just see that how much deeper questions are being asked now. And in fact, in the world history also, you can find the similar kind of questions, similar kind of changes. So what I'm trying to tell you, that if you follow the same approach that, okay, I have taken history optional and that's why I should go certain books, that's incorrect. The subject itself is changing, and along with the subjects, the nature of questions being asked in UPSC, that's also changing. So in last 10 years, if you'll compare the questions of last 10 years also, there also you'll find great amount of experimentations have been done with the question. So you need to give a different shape to your preparations. You can't follow a very simplistic approach to cover your syllabus. In fact, you don't only need to know about only the kind of concepts, or let's say the topics. You have to also understand that what are the probable questions, like what are the new dimensions from where UPSC can ask questions. So the moment it comes to the syllabus, the preparation of the optional syllabus, irrespective of the subject, right, irrespective of the optional, you have to change, you have to follow a new approach, you have to anticipate the new dimensions, and that's the reason because of what you need to know the subjects in a pretty well manner. And if you're failing in doing so, in that case you can't expect very good marks. So this is the reason that don't take your optional very much lightly, and always try to cover the syllabus in a very good way. And in fact, as I told you, that you have to know the new dimensions, you have to anticipate the further or the possible dimensions that can be asked in future. In that case only, like, you can really expect of getting 300. Like, it's very easy to dream that I'll be scoring more than 300, but the kind of efforts which are required to clear or to get more than 300 score, like, that really consumes time, energy, effort and everything. So this is the reason, don't take it lightly. So now our course is basically going to be going to take place in the same manner. We are not only covering the topics which are asked so far in the UPSC examination. That's also very popular. There's a popular notion that in history the questions are being repeated. Of course, in history the themes are being repeated, but you can't say the questions are also repeated in the same manner, because in the kind of experiments, just now I had been showing you the questions, the kind of experiments which are done with the questions, that does not tell you that the same repetition of the same theme means that this is the repetition of the repetition of the question also. Now they have been hunting the new dimensions of the questions, new dimensions of the themes, and that's how you need to prepare it in a different way, and we precisely focus on that, right? So in our batch, what are the things we have been doing? We are just focusing on the conceptual clarity. If you do have a very good conceptual clarity, and in fact if you understand, okay, these are the dimensions which should be covered, these are the possible probable dimensions, in that case you will be even ready for the next UPSC or next to next UPSC also, and that's how, this is what we focus a lot. We always try to even hunt even those dimensions which are so far not asked, but the possibility is very high of questions to be asked from that particular dimension, right? Apart from this, there was another point that's very important, that's connecting the dots. Now this is precisely for all those people who have done their graduation with these subjects. Normally the students, those who have done their graduation with history optional, they believe that since I have done my graduation with the subjects, and that's why I have covered the syllabus holistically, and that's how I do not require any class or any help as such or any kind of mentorship as such. That's again incorrect. Like, when you have been preparing these subjects specifically in your graduation days, then what happens? Like, while doing or covering the syllabus in your graduation, you just focus on some larger issues. In graduation, mostly what happens, the 60 marker or let's say bigger questions are being asked. Normally in 3 hours you are supposed to write 4 or 5 questions. So there the coverage of syllabus is done in a very different way. But then it skips or it actually misses, like, whereas connecting dots. There are so many smaller dimensions within two larger topics from where the questions may be asked. But when you have been preparing the subject for your graduation perspective or for that requirement, like, there you cannot find these dots, and that's the reason because of what it's very important that these days you have been connecting the dots. And when you have been reading the subject in such a holistic way where you are really trying to connect the dots, then what happens, that if any questions is being asked which is very experimental, innovative, in that question or in those kind of questions also, you'll be at least you'll be able to understand the question, comprehend the questions, and you'll be write the proper answer for it. And this is the reason because of what we focus a lot on the connecting, focus a lot on connecting these dots. Okay, then next is holistic content delivery through the class and the notes. These are two things where we through which we try to cover the whole syllabus. And as I told you that whatever the problems I have been raising, so our curriculum is based on that. We just try to cover in such a way that it is going to fulfill all of your requirements, and that's how there is a holistic coverage. And then the next thing which comes in, that once you have covered the syllabus, and then what is the next thing which is very important? Then the answer writing. Okay. Now answer writing is very important, but I'll be coming to answer writing. But before I come to answer writing, let me tell you about the booklets that we provide. So there are 5 booklets we provide, one for ancient India, one for medieval India, next one for modern, one for world, and that's how we cover both the papers. And there is a separate paper for the separate booklet for the map section. So this is how we provide you the 5 booklets, and along with these booklets we prepare the class notes within the class itself. Class notes, and these class notes are basically the sufficient material for your preparation. I always used to say that at the end, if you keep on revising only these class notes, you don't need to revise anything else, because they are more than sufficient, and you'll be able to write any question which is being asked in UPSC. After this, as I had been telling you about this answer writing, right? This is again very important. How much do you know? It's not that important. What content you write and how do you write? That's also very important. And that's along with gathering the content, along with knowing the concept, it's also very important that you are able to convey your ideas in a very lucid manner, in a very organized manner, and that's the reason because of what answer writing is very important. And that's how we focus a lot on answer writing, and we go for very frequent answer writing. Almost all, we can say, on every alternative days we go for answer writing, and that's we can say that's we always call it Riyaz, where on every alternate day we give you some questions, and I ask you to write the answer of those questions. Then bi-monthly answer writing. Now these are the questions, these are the paper that is in number, that could be 8 to 10, and here what we do, here we go for a proper test of 8 or 10 questions, and you need to you have to write all those papers, and that's how you are just breaking that fear, because writing is something which is creating a kind of fear, and you are always very hesitant while writing the answers. But since we do we go for so much practice of answer writing, that gradually you start losing this fear of answer writing. You learn, okay, this is the question, or this kind of question is there, how to start it, and you just go and write the answer. So I must say this is something which is very important, and we also understand that, and that's the reason because of what we emphasize a lot on this. So apart from this, we can say that test series is also part of your syllabus, so you don't need to join any test series because it's included in your syllabus. Then along with this, we try to cover certain other things such as the value addition notes. It's very important. Sometimes when we feel that the notes are not sufficient, or let's say some value addition material should be given, sometimes I feel that you should go for some readings. In that case, we just provide them not in form of books, but in form of such couple of pages, handouts, right? Or it may be anything, but it is not more than not more than let's say 3 pages, 4 pages or something like that. So we keep on providing this thing also. Apart from that, we also cover history in the news, because if you find any reflection of these things on your paper, so you'll be ready mentally for that also, right? Then the next thing that we focus a lot, it's the map material. Undoubtedly, map is of 50 marks, and out of this 50 marks, it's quite possible to score somewhere between 40 to 45. So you can understand the significance, because in paper 1, if you have, let's say if you have scored just 40, in that case also you're going to excel in paper 1, and it's very much possible to score somewhere around 160, 170 in paper 1, and my students have scored more than 160, 170 in paper 1. So this is the reason, and if you really wish to score more than 160 in paper 1, you need to focus a lot here. So we understand that also, and that's the reason because of what great emphasis is provided for this, right? Then it comes to the one-to-one discussion. I am always open for this one-to-one discussion. So whenever the students are having queries, I'm always, I always try to resolve the queries, because for me this is not a subject which should be mucked up. Rather, it's a subject which should be comprehended, which should be understood properly. So I just focus more on understanding, on the conceptual clarity, and that's for that reason undoubtedly like students are having questions, and I always try to resolve that. So this very like I'm very much liking this one-to-one discussions, because the students are asking their questions and their queries. So that's how we can like we are going to have our program, and I believe that it's very it is going to be very helpful. So I'm just looking forward you guys to join this particular program, that I can really develop a very good preparation for this optional paper that can really help you to score at least 280, 290, 300, 310, whatever. Now it is like it's definitely depending on your preparation. Thank you very much.